Gotta get used to you just whipping the camera out. That's what he does. It's funny that he said that because he's the one that gets aggravated from if we're not working on our videos right then when I'm trying to like let the ideas gestate. Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Freddy, obviously. How are y'all doing? I would love y'all to subscribe. Remember to subscribe and comment and like, because that YouTube algorithm loves that stuff, and please support me. And I need y'all feedback and stuff and some ideas on some different stuff, you know. But anyway, what this video is about today is about how I communicate with what I call the others, which are the alters, or whatever other people call them. I call them the others, or my people, whatever. And should I be called they or them? Like, is that a proper pronoun for me, by the way? Because I was wondering that. Like, I'm like, since I have DID, they, or them, seems pretty accurate for me. Just wondering. But anyway, I wanted to talk about how, you know, my family never understood, and I'm actually now finally understanding how I communicate with them and how that was normal, when I used to think that was pretty weird of me, you know, but that's actually a normal thing in the DID community and with people with this disorder. So, co-consciousness, and something else that I found out about that's called co-frontation or co-fronting. Co-fronting, that's what it is. Well, what co-consciousness is sharing awareness with two or other alters or others, or you know, so on. And that is constantly going on with me because I have a very large system. My system was like 70 or something, and now it's like 40 plus. Pretty big. So there's a lot of co-consciousness going on with me. I guess I should explain what it's like, what the feeling is. Like later on in this video, like Freddy, the other Freddy, is in it, and because he's on my TikTok, and he has a lot of stuff to, you know, that he says in this video, because they're starting to come out and be more comfortable with being on camera, which is really cool, because they have so many ideas and so many of their own things, so it's gonna be cool the more that they show. And then I start to learn more about them too, because I don't know a lot of things about them. They have their own things. They have their own likes. They have their own memories. They have their own skills. They're their own. They're their own. This one guy said that when he's experiencing co-consciousness with the others, that he feels a pressure like in the center of his head, and that it's a very uncomfortable feeling for him. It just feels like a bunch of people like pushing around in his skull, and he said it's very uncomfortable. Well, but it's a necessary part of the system, you know, being co-conscious with them. And it is, and I'll explain why. Well, for me, when I experience it, it's almost like an opening, you know, like it's not uncomfortable to me, maybe because I'm so used to it, but it definitely, you definitely feel like the others in your space. I can understand how to some people that would be uncomfortable, but I'm used to it. The thing that gets uncomfortable, I guess, I can understand, is like when you start to overlap, or when there's co-fronting going on. For the most part, my others, like they're not fighting for control with me. They pretty much like me to be in control, but like the thing is that when one wants to do something and I'm doing something else, like let's say I'm reading something, but somebody is thinking about something that's in my backpack, or they're hungry, or whatever it is, they can start doing that. Especially if they're conscious with me, they'll start doing their thing, and I'm like, all of a sudden, I'm like going somewhere, and I'm like, what's going on? And they'll go and get something, and I'm like, what? Because I'm not on the same wavelength as them. They're doing their own thing, and then they'll tell me like, oh, I was hungry, I felt like chocolate right then, and I'm like, oh, okay, you know, it's interesting how it goes, you know. Actually, to me it's kind of cool. It's pretty cool for the most part. But you know, I'm gonna go more into that as I get into the Freddy video. I can go into more and describe more of what's going on with different things that he says. So like, I'm gonna go into the video. I'm gonna like, you know, start putting some pieces of the TikTok on so y'all can see how it is, and I'll go along. You'll see. I didn't even think to record us because like we just do this all the time, but okay. So the trauma that you're holding on to, we have to deal with that separately and at a more appropriate time, because this ain't right. We could start doing something with the with the show video. You wanna do that? Okay. I'm not ready to go back home right now. I'm like, oh, home. You know what I mean. Okay, well, hello people. I don't know what I'm gonna put on, or if I might do, I don't know. I'm kind of just letting y'all into my world of like when I'm talking to them in public. I have to put this in when I'm talking to them when I'm co-conscious, because you know it looks crazy as hell. I know when I'm talking to them co-consciously, it's like watching them people walk down the street and they're like yelling at each other. It's not like that. It's, well, it can be like that, but like so we just play it off like I'm listening to this, like I don't know, it's more for y'all. It really ain't for us, because I could really give a shit about like taking it out and just full force letting y'all think I'm fucking insane. I really did. No one asked you. Always overlapping. Anyway, actually, that's a perfect example right there. That's how I typically communicate with them when I'm on my own. I do not do that in front of other people because I know what that looks like. I mean, the people that are close to me, they have seen me do it, but I don't consciously do that in front of other people because of what I know it looks like. But that is something that I'm breaking the stigma of too, because I'm starting to do it more, even though I'll use the earpiece. But that is how we are co-conscious. And you see how we overlap? That happens all the time with different ones. The thing is that on our own, we're like out in the open with it, obviously. But with other people, when they overlap and they talk, and you'll get some of their personality and some of what they're saying, the majority of people don't even realize it. It goes straight over their head. They have no idea that someone else is talking to them. Also, something that happens a lot, that I used to think, oh my god, I'm not engaging with the person, is when I'm talking to somebody and I like go somewhere. Like a million miles away. Just go somewhere. Well, what's going on when that happens? That's usually one of the others, like, taking over, or they're going more to the front, you know, taking the wheel of the car. We discussed that in my other videos. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out my other videos. And subscribe and like, because I gotta remind you sometimes, like, you know, hit that bell, you know, keep it coming. But yeah, so like me and him, like me and the other Freddy, we get into, well, me and a lot of the other ones, we get into some deep conversations, and you know, this is just a part of it. I just love, it's better to show you than to tell you sometimes. So here's some more stuff. That's the other Freddy. That's go back and forth like that a lot. So anyway, like what we were having the discussion about is like, you know, I had a very rough time with my mom in the past, and there's like a lot of stuff that I've forgiven her for, and that we'll get there somehow. But well, we're just not figuring out that the other Freddy is not on the same page with that at all. Has not forgiven her. is still stuck on some stuff that happened a long time ago, which makes perfect sense. Stuff that happened when I was 10. Yeah, when our dad died. So, yeah, so like we get into some deep conversations, but it's all a part about working through everyone's individual issues, and you know, that's how you integrate. And I used to be afraid of people, of the others integrating, because I'm so used to talking to them like I'm talking to them and I'm talking to you. And but they're always going to be a part of me. Like it's very weird when you integrate. It's so strange, but like it's like they're always a part of you, but like they're like a part of you because like I'm separate from them. Like it's yeah, not the easiest thing to explain, not all the way understood itself. It's so easy to get lost in that world in this world because they're their own people. And like, you know, they're no longer, and I forget this, they're no longer me. Like, they're a part of me, but they're not. They're still dealing with their own things at their own levels, at their own pace. And like with the other Freddy, like, I'm thinking, well, I'm to a degree where I could forgive my mom and mend our relationship and everything. So like everyone else in the system is caught up. That's not how it works at all. So when we were having that discussion, I was actually shocked, like, of how much anger and rage that he had. But then from talking to him more, which I'll talk about Freddy in some other video too, and my alters and our different relationships. But he was like, well, I split around the time that our dad passed, and I never forgave her around then, which made perfect sense to me. I was like, oh, and so a lot of things started coming together. There was one day that I had went to my mom's work, and it was very unlike me. At the time, I didn't know it wasn't me, but I remember going to her work, to her desk, and specifically something like, you know, I blame you for my father passing. I blame you for his death. Like, you shouldn't have made me lie to him, and all of this other stuff. I'm conscious, but I'm like, where is this coming from? Like, I don't talk to her like that. Sure enough, no wonder. That was 32, or no, maybe 30 or so years ago. I just found out the other day that that was the other Freddy. And that was, you know, his thing, mainly. It just goes to show, like, I can't emphasize enough. They are their own people. And I can be very, especially before, like, when people don't understand it, and they're like, oh, you're acting, or something like that, I get really defensive. I could be very protective. Just like I'm protective of anybody in other parts of my life that I'm protective of. I'm very protective of them because they're misunderstood like that. And you don't mess with my people, okay? So on. So, anyway, yeah, I was starting to get, like, more comfortable with the camera. Yeah, I'm not so worried about it. It's just, like, when you, like, whip it out or think to whip it out when we're in the middle of a conversation, it's like, okay, all of a sudden, there's a fucking camera there. Like, so, like, I just gotta get used to you just whipping the camera out. That's what he does. And so anyway, you know, it's actually really funny that he said that because the other Freddy is like the horse, like the workhorse, like he is the one. I think before, like, he was really comfortable with being on camera. He wasn't really comfortable with it. It's hard to explain, like, it's funny that he said that because he's the one that gets aggravated from if we're not working on our videos right then. When I'm trying to, like, let the ideas gestate, he wants to work on something right then. So it's really funny that he's like, oh, you whipping out the camera all the time and all that stuff. That's how we go back and forth. Since this video has a lot of him in it, I'm gonna explain some more about the other Freddy. Um, okay. The reason why he calls himself the other Freddy is because, this is how he explained it to me, it's because, like, he sees himself like he's my twin. Like, literally. He sees me, like I'm the girl part of him. You know, like, and I'm like his goddess, you know, but he's very masculine. Like, I kind of see him as straight, but he says that he doesn't really know, like, he might be pansexual or whatever it is, you know, but he's very into women, and the way he acts with women is very straight. It's interesting. Well, when I met Freddie, like, a long time ago, I think I was intimidated by him when he came out again, because we reconnected different parts about my life. We were so buddy-buddy and, like, so cool, like brothers, like twins. And then we separated again, and then he came back, and I was, like, afraid of him because I have to explain something about him. He's, as you can see, he's very aggressive, and he's really intense. He has a very intense energy. And so when he split away from me for a while again and came back, I wasn't used to that energy, so I was freaked out by him and thought that he was dark, and like, I'm like kind of like, stay away from me. Why are you here? Like, just to find out that I was totally wrong. And but yes, he is very intense. You would think that he was manic, but he's not. Like, it's like he has ADHD, but once you get him focused on something, oh my gosh, brilliant, like genius, like unbelievable, the stuff that he can do. And he has to be busy. He's a person that cannot be idle. It drives him nutty, and he drives me crazy with it. Now that we're like been so conscious with each other lately, he will drive me crazy. He's actually, which is funny from that clip too, the reason why I'm doing this so early, because I wanted to wait to get more things together. The other Freddy is the reason why we're doing this. Yep, sure is. I am the reason. I'm the reason why we're pushing our content out. Yep, blame me. Anyway, so like, if y'all want to know more about him, I'll tell y'all more about him, of course, but I'm just interested to know what y'all want to know about the others, because y'all are gonna find out a lot about them. So let's see what else is on this video that we made. Welcome to the Fracture World of Freddie Williams. But baby, I'd rather have all these personalities than people outside of myself that don't make no sense to me whatsoever. No common sense. Like I said, with all these personalities, and it make more sense than a person that has to deal with one, and just persona issues and personality issues. Give me a break. Don't feel sorry for you at all. Because I'm dealing with 25 or plus more people and their issues and their problems and their different conflicts. They all have different sexualities. Some of them have dated like actual people. Like, they all have their own thing. And there's 25 plus. And when I talked to Eve, like today, she's like the mother of them, a lot of them, basically. She said there's like 40, and I had like 70, but I integrated so fast when I had the epiphany that I wasn't even aware of it. She's like a gatekeeper, so she knows everything in my system, just like Melissa. So it's just, it's actually kind of cool in a lot of ways too, though. Have to keep shifting. Okay, I keep doing that because, like, I am doing this only from an Android, okay? That's it. An old Android phone, like from like 2, maybe 3 years ago. And I am rigging it on this crate. So, like, I don't have like a stand or anything yet. I'm gonna invest in one, okay? Gotta get the money, y'all. Gotta get the money. But anyway, I'm gonna tell y'all more about the other ones like Eve and Melissa. And definitely Luce, because that's a video on its own, her and her relationship, and it's interesting. It's really interesting, the things that happen with us, you know. Though, like, I have to admit that I am not suffering with DID in the least. I love my personalities. I love them. Like, especially now that we're all like working towards the same goal, since we're all different, there's gonna be conflicts. But we're all working together. It's fucking awesome. And then like learning their different abilities and the stuff that they could do that I always thought about and didn't even know that I could do, and then they do it. It's mind blowing. And yes, it can be debilitating with the memory issues and stuff. But for the most part, that's the worst part of it for me, is the memory issues, really. And before I had the epiphany, like, it was like, woo, woo, whoa. Talk about, it was crazy then. But now that it's like more manageable, it's awesome. I always love my personalities anyway, except for the ones that I was freaked out by before like we started to come to common ground. I was like, whoa, you know? Like the other Freddy is really intense. If you could tell when he starts talking, because he's, you know, he's like a giant, like literally like a giant, like 30 feet tall giant. Alters are interesting. And when he's out, people are intimidated. And we were having a very deep conversation about that, because even sometimes I take his energy wrong. And you would think, well, he's in my body. How do you take his energy wrong? Because he's a whole nother person. That's how. I've touched on this before, that alters can literally be anything. An altar can be a tree. This is stuff that I did not know. And like Freddy is a literal giant, you know, like a fairy tale giant. Like, of course he looks like me and you, and when I visualize him, but he's like a giant, you know, like it's I didn't make him that way. Maybe I did when I was younger. I don't know. Some part of me did, but regardless of what they are or anything, it doesn't matter. They're still different personalities with different, you know, they're different. And they all deserve to be treated with the same amount of respect, because they're all there for a reason. So yeah, and he was bitching about, like, because his personality, oh god, the people that like me, yeah, because he don't he's never been in like a relationship, or he's very I don't know what to say about that. Like, that's something that you would have to say, because I found some interesting things out about you today. So but yeah, like, he's the type that he's just like so manly, like and he does not care what people think, and he is like so bold, and people just like want to like, can I say that? Yeah, like they want to fuck him, and they just want to sleep with him, and he's just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Don't you know I will totally dominate you? Like, I'm totally into that. You don't want to be with me. What the fuck? Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. That's him. I don't think anyone can handle him in a relationship. But, oh, do they want to? Oh well. You always want what you can't get, huh? But anyway, towards the end, I'm just wrapping it up. And so I'm just gonna let y'all watch the end of it. Hopefully y'all are interested. Y'all better be, like, cause I'm fucking awesome. But anyway. But anyway, so just to let y'all know, I'm totally letting y'all into my secrets. But that doesn't mean that every time I have this in that I'm talking to them, by the way, either. Oh, and like I said, this, what y'all are seeing here, y'all more than likely would never see this in real life unless I let y'all into that, and unless you're on my TikTok. or my YouTube, whatever. But yeah, otherwise you'll just see me like this talking. You would never know I had personalities. How y'all doing? But yes, I do, and I fully accept it, and I love them, baby. Cause I wouldn't be as awesome as I am if I didn't have them. So anyway, just letting y'all into my world. Love y'all. Talk to y'all. Okay then, that brings us around towards the end. Like and subscribe. You know, you're going to see a lot of videos about my altars and a lot of different other things. Because they're going to start putting their ideas out. Let's do it again. Alright. Okay. Alright, that draws us close to the end. Like and subscribe. You're going to see a lot of videos on my altars and a lot of different things because they have their own thing that they want to talk about, and so that's going to be cool seeing them do their own videos and watching what they do, and like I'm ready for it. I'm all for it. So I hope y'all are too. Any questions y'all have, please leave them in the comments, and your experiences with people with DID, or if you have it, please let me know. That's it for now.